It's really dangerous to build your brand on being really fast. For one thing, speed is quantifiable, so you can't just say, it's magic, or it turns you into a professional photographer, and then expect everyone to buy your products based on their feelings. For another thing, it puts such an obvious target on your back. I mean, it's not like any of your competitors are trying to make their devices slower. And that is what makes OnePlus's accomplishment here so impressive. The OnePlus 7 Pro is hands down the fastest Android device that I have ever held in my hand, and I'm gonna show you guys what I mean. After this message from our sponsor, Corsair. The Corsair Ironclaw RGB mouse features a native 18,000 dpi optical sensor, a comfortable palm grip, and sub 1 millisecond slipstream wireless technology. Check it out at the link below. Let's get the bad stuff out of the way right now. The OnePlus 7 Pro doesn't have a headphone jack. Though in fairness, neither do most flagship phones these days, so harping on that feels like background noise, especially when it also falls short in some other key areas. 1, it lacks any wireless charging, when leaders like Huawei and Samsung have moved on to high-speed wireless charging and even wireless power sharing. 2, it carries no independently validated water or dust resistance rating, when even Apple has been doing this for years now. 3, it eschews other add-ons and features beloved by Android enthusiasts, like expandable storage, IR blasters, or removable batteries. And 4, finally, it's just plain not cheap anymore. Parent company BBK Electronics has obviously set very clear expectations that the OnePlus brand needs to move up market in order to survive, preferring to use divisions like Realme and Vivo to attack budget competitors like Huawei's Honor and Xiaomi's Pocophone brands. So, with all of that out of the way, why do I love this thing so much? Well, it starts with the feel in the hand. OnePlus has taken a huge leap forward with this generation. The 7 Pro features curved Gorilla Glass 5 for both the back and the screen. That's a first for them. It's got ideally positioned lock, volume rocker, and do not disturb buttons, along with corners that are shaped perfectly to fit comfortably in a cupped palm in both portrait and landscape orientations. Now, it's heavy, about the same weight as a Note 9, but with that heft comes a heck of a lot of phone. The display is simply put, outstanding. This is OnePlus's first 1440p class display, so folks with sharper eyes than me will probably appreciate that. But the thing that stood out to me was the configurability. OnePlus holds nothing back here. For example, you can switch to DC control to reduce flicker, which is sick, and instead of hiding color profiles behind ambiguous terms like photo or vivid, they allow the user to quickly and easily select their color space of choice and adjust the white point. That's a huge one for me over the already excellent OLED panel on the Galaxy S10 Plus, which is locked into a warmer white point than I would prefer in its color accurate profile. And it gets even better. HDR10 Plus certification, no notch, no hole punch, no distractions. Now, purists might still criticize the heavily rounded corners, but I'd say after about 30 seconds of wide aspect ratio content on this phone, I suspect most people will completely forget about it. This is the most immersive phone movie watching experience that I've had yet. And yes, some of us watch movies on our phones. Deal with it. The only thing on my wish list here would be always-on functionality. I've got to praise the onboard speakers as well. LG and Huawei took big gambles transitioning to vibrating screen technology for their earpiece speakers.
Whereabouts are you going in Hawaii?
And while it paid off in terms of in-call audio quality, in my opinion, they both delivered inferior video watching experiences. OnePlus opted for a right side bottom firing speaker and a super slim amplified earpiece speaker that between the two of them deliver a very satisfactory stereo effect, even if they're not the loudest I've ever heard. And they gotta get kudos for that. Now, let's get into my claims about the OnePlus 7 Pro's incredible speed. Cause it sounds kinda hard to believe, right? Since flagship phones all have basically the same hardware in them at this point. The thing is though, that tuning matters. It starts with the in-screen fingerprint sensor. Now, I had pretty much accepted that the convenience of being able to unlock my phone without flipping it over came at the cost of slower authentication. Not anymore. Every device that you're looking at here has the latest updates. The 7 Pro is just that much faster. And you can complain that part of Samsung's poor showing here is that their animation is slow. But the thing is, that's part of the perception of speed. Like, I don't like everything about OnePlus's Oxygen OS. The task switcher only shows one task, which I think is dumb, and the fingerprint sensor actually happens to show up exactly where the clear all notifications button is. Oops. But overall, OnePlus has worked for years to purge their OS of unnecessary fluff in the form of things like lock animations. It doesn't have one. The screen just turns off. And folder pop-ups. So snappy. So everything just feels fast. And more importantly, not just when it's brand new. When I was trying to quantify my snappy experience with the 7 Pro, I grabbed a freshly formatted Pixel 3 XL. And I was surprised that, given the Pixel 3's reputation, they were neck and neck in basically everything I did. But then, I logged into my Google account and installed all the same apps, and immediately the difference became what you're looking at now. And the cherry on top of all of that is the perceived increase in responsiveness from the 90 Hz screen. I am a huge proponent of high refresh rate, and the OnePlus 7 Pro is exactly why. Not only does every animation look more fluid, but everything on the screen that's in motion looks higher definition. Like you can read text as you're scrolling back and forth like this. Actually, that brings us pretty nicely to the camera. Now, OnePlus started out as the phone that was great except for the camera, thank goodness it's cheap. But over the last couple of generations, they've really broken away from the pack. Not because they get the best DxOMark score, or because they have amazing video recording quality. That's still a weak point from my experience compared to my Note 9 daily driver. What OnePlus does well though, and the 7 Pro's 48 megapixel main and wide angle shooters are no exception, is take whatever's in front of you and put it on your screen, for better or for worse. Their app is super responsive, yes, that again, and it's simple to use. And on the image processing side, they tend not to overdo anything like edge enhancement, noise reduction, or color saturation. And I really like and respect their approach. At least in normal mode. Their night mode was actually a bit of a mess for me the one night that I took it out. As for the selfie camera, out of the box, it's sharp, accurate, and mostly free of weird beauty processing. So pretty good in my book already. But of course, that's far from the coolest thing about it. Now, a motorized pop-up camera is, in my mind, the riskiest way to achieve a notchless display, and that's because of the moving parts. But OnePlus claims that between the gasket that they've installed to keep out debris and their automatic retraction mechanism, check this out, it's gone. They validated it to be used 150 times per day, every day, for 5 years. And the thing is, I have seen their R&D and testing center, so all right guys, innocent until proven guilty on this one. Now as for some of the new camera selling points, I'm a little tepid on those. The 3x optical zoom lens definitely delivers more detail in faraway objects, but at the cost of inferior processing. Now it's possible that this is something they can improve, but it is only an 8 megapixel sensor, so I probably wouldn't hold my breath. I do have more good stuff to say though. 30-watt warp charging is some pretty next level stuff. Half of your charge, remember this is a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, in 30 minutes? Dang impressive. I'm assuming, I don't know, I didn't use it, but for good reason. Thing is, battery life on the 6T was already great, so adding nearly another 10% to its capacity could only serve to improve it, and it did. Now the 7 Pro is still no 2-day monster like the P30 Pro, but I regularly made it to the end of the day with 40% in the tank, and I actually got all of my notifications. So that's pretty good. Which brings us then to price. For the first time, second time actually, but who's counting? OnePlus is pursuing a two-tiered strategy, focusing on the OnePlus 7 Pro in some markets and pushing the OnePlus 7, a lower cost, beefed up 6T in others. With this strategy then comes OnePlus's biggest generational price hike yet if you're in a 7 Pro market, around $100. So then, at over twice as much as the original OnePlus One, does this still make sense? The answer is yeah. Now, bargain hunters out there might find that they prefer flagship killers like the F1 or unlocked, no warranty international S10s on marketplaces like Amazon. But for my part, if a friend said to me, look, I've got a good job, I want something decent. Which Android phone should I get for a no-bull experience? I'd say if you don't absolutely need a headphone jack, get a OnePlus 7 Pro. Because the thing is, guys, it's all about the software these days. And as we discovered during our 5-year Android versus iPhone test, there's a reason that OnePlus phones hold their value so darn well. Speaking of holding their value well, D-brand skins help your devices hold their value better because they not only look freaking awesome, they also protect your devices against incidental scuffs and scratches. D-brand skins are available for laptops, phones, tablets, consoles, controllers, and more. They're made from high-quality 3M vinyl that's true texture, and the patented adhesive is guaranteed to leave no residue on your device if you ever want to change the skin. Their uncompromising precision in cutting the vinyl ensures a factory fit for your device, and their customer service robots are easy to work with. They're great. D-brand products are affordable and they ship worldwide, so check them out at the link in the video description. So thanks for watching, guys. If you disliked this video, you can hit that button, but if you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, or maybe consider checking out where to buy the stuff we featured at the link in the video description. Also down there is our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join.